Magnificence is the boundless expanse of being, a liberation from limitation. It is the embodiment of authenticity, where you shed the shackles of self-doubt, shame, and imposter syndrome. Here, worthiness flourishes like a vibrant garden where you have the power to determine your actions, destinations, and your closest relationships. In the realm of magnificence, creative individuality takes center stage. Your greatness is acknowledged, celebrated, and nurtured. Gone are the days of mindless conformity or fitting in just to keep the peace. This show and your host, Patricia Lindner, are here to guide you as you align with your authentic design, leading the way to a life of purpose and fulfillment. Magnificence is not some unreachable peak or distant dream. It's inside you, waiting to shine brighter than you ever thought possible. Welcome to your magnificence.
Hello, everyone. This is another episode of Magnificence, an empowerment podcast that strikes a match and shines the light on the magnificence and greatness of people. And I mainly use human design to shine the light on the strengths and the gifts of people. And today I have a wonderful, amazing guest. Her name is Stefi Daskalopoulou. And she is a personal development coach who helps people overcome obstacles. And when they face any obstacles in their lives and they feel stuck, she guides them out of the stuckness into flow. And finally, they feel deeply connected with themselves and they feel at ease again. Welcome to the show, Stefi.
Thank you for having me, Patricia. I'm so excited.
Me too. I could not wait to have you on the show because I said this is a show that uses or that is based on human design. And to be honest and to share this with all the people who are listening or watching this show, I was a bit nervous, and maybe I still am, because I know that you are an expert in human design as well. And so I was like, okay, this is really different to have an expert in human design on the show. So before we dive into all the good stuff, would you love to tell the audience a little bit about yourself? I introduced you briefly. Maybe you want to add some things about what you do.
I have been working as a personal development coach for the last few years. And the reason why I started in this field was because I was always very curious to understand people, to see why they do the things that they do, and I was always so eager to look beneath the obvious and really get to the root of a situation. So I was very interested in learning how I can help people to do that, and also doing it for myself in my own self-development journey. So this path led me to start my own business and to do coaching, while at the same time I stumbled upon human design along the way. And it just felt this amazing supplementary tool to my work, because I felt so seen, I felt so understood by this system, and it helped me actually understand a lot of things that you can't necessarily prove or put into words, because they're more energetic, they're more unseen but felt. So it kind of gave me language to put these things together and really explain a lot of things about myself and then about others, because again it shines such a great light to how everyone works, and our own gifts and unique qualities that we bring into the world. So I was also incorporating that into my work. So in order to help someone to reconnect with what feels true to them and to reconfirm what they feel, to be true already, but they just need this extra, let's say, confirmation that it is what they feel. And then working through the blocks and the obstacles that many times stop us from accessing our truth and accessing our true self, which is who we are without the conditioning. And human design actually shows us a reminder of our innate energies. And so working with the conditioning of, society, of growing up, that we all have unavoidably been exposed to, we can then make more space for our truth and who we are to come out. So all of these tools come very well together in that.
Thank you so much for sharing this. And when you said how you discovered all that you do now, and you said you discovered human design and you liked really investigating and stuff and going to the very depth of something, then I thought, yes, that makes so much sense when I think about your chart. And I feel like this is a moment where I want to show your chart, if you allow me to.
Yes, of
The
course.
audience, because I want this to be something like, shining the light on your amazing qualities and also giving people insight into human design so they can better understand that human design is not putting people into a box, but that is really opening them up to who they are and what else is possible. And so I just share the screen to have a quick look at your chart. And I need to say, and I don't know if you do it the same way whenever I have someone's chart, I look at the chart with the eye of an artist. And I just put all the knowledge that I have about human design, I always put it aside. And when I look at your chart, what stands out, you are a projector. And I would love to dive into the projector's quality in a minute. But just looking at the chart and sharing this with the audience, I find it so amazing and fantastic that your chart is like this great picture of a lot of openness, all the white centers that you can see here, and you know it. And then the center, the core, the self, and the willpower is defined. And I think this is a chart that stands out. I read over 100 charts so far, over 200 charts so far, I guess. And I never saw a chart that looks like this. And for me, and maybe this is outside of the learnings of human design, this also shows the person and the personality you are, just radiating from the core and having this openness on the outside, really being able to get what people think. You might even get more than what people know about themselves because you have those fine antennas, those fine-tuned antennas in all aspects of your chart. And you have the strongness so that you can be this amazing guide. You have the power, the willpower, and you know that you can do that. You know who you are, and you know how you guide people on this journey. And so I think there is a little bit of this reflector quality inside of you that you can be the most amazing guide for people. And I don't know if you resonate with that. And maybe I just stop the screen share so that I can put you in the limelight again.
Yeah, thank you for your kind words. I have thought about it before, about the resonance with the reflector. I think there's definitely a lot of commonalities. And at the same time, there's also maybe the difference of having the G center defined, the core with the willpower, because I do feel this coming out of me in a more of a consistent way. But also what I once thought when contemplating on this is that, so the founder of human design said that reflectors, they might have all this openness, but their aura kind of operates like a Teflon. So they're like reflecting everything back, not necessarily taking it in. And I don't really feel like that because I feel like I do take a lot.
Yeah. That's why you're a projector.
Yeah, so this is a difference there. But in the openness, yes, I feel like there are definitely commonalities and these differences that do make it like feel a bit of a different energy. And as you said earlier, like this openness in the centers that are open have actually, because there are so many, there have been many times in my life that this openness was preventing me from feeling my core, from feeling my willpower, because there was a lot of conditioning. So for those who are not very aware about the centers, so the white centers is where we receive the conditioning from our environment. So because of all this access to to environmental, let's say, influence from the open centers, the access to myself and to my core willpower were really compromised for many years. So it was difficult because of that. And I feel like working with the conditioning, as I said before, has made this access easier, so that I can tap more into my inner energies, which come from the core and the willpower.
And that's even better that you shared this, because sharing your story of open centers and the fact that this is where you can be manipulated, where people can really take over and influence you and keep you from feeling who you are, because you are so open, you have those antennas, that makes you even more magnificent in what you do, because you overcame those obstacles and you know exactly what you're talking about when you work with your clients. And so we know each other, but I didn't know about this so much. And so this is a confirmation for me, as I know the way you work, that as you mastered lots of these aspects, you are the most amazing guide that people can have in their lives. And you said that now the core of knowing who you are and going this unique path, and I guess this is very much in your chart, that you need to go and walk your path that comes to fruition, and that you now can shine your light. Does this resonate with you?
It does. And I mean, by no means I feel that I've mastered everything. I'm definitely on the path still, but the work that has been done up until now, I can feel how it certainly is helping me be a better guide with my clients, because it's like, also, I guess this is part of the channel that I have, the 2551, which is that you have to take the leap of faith, go into the abyss, and then come out with having been through the discomfort and come out with transformation. So I guess I first went there myself so I can feel okay to help others go there, because I know we're all afraid to go into the abyss, meaning our inner shadows, our inner obstacles. But it's like, it works in the way that if you do go there, you do come out with so much gold and so many gifts that actually open your path to go where you have to go, where your soul wants to go.
That's fabulous. And you are not just this amazing guide, you are a clairvoyant, because what I had on my mind, I wanted to really focus on this channel, and therefore, again, the light on your chart so that people know what we are talking about. So you talked about the 2551, which is the connection between the self-center and the willpower or ego center. And it is a very creative channel in my eyes, and also according to the teachings. And so, again, what stands out for me, you said it is this initiation channel that you have to take the leap of faith, and that you have to jump into the unknown sometimes. I had two ideas when I looked at your chart. And so the one was, I saw a picture. I'm very much talking in pictures of a warrioress that is walking the path on her own, having the goal in front of her, maybe having bow and arrow, really being focused on what she wants and walking the path with courage. And the other one, as I love oracle cards a lot, and by no means do I want to harm you with what I say, I thought about the Fool's card. And the Fool's card is not a bad card, doesn't mean that you're a fool.
Yeah.
But I thought about this joyful person on an oracle deck card or a tarot card that is taking the leap and just enjoying the walk, trusting the inner guidance and trusting the will power to really take the leap. And so this is a little bit outside of the normal range of talking about human design, but to share with the audience in connection with the pictures that I said, this is what makes you you, and is like a connection that can't be influenced, can't be taken advantage of, can't be turned off by anyone, not by a planetary influence, not by a person that wants to take away anything or force you to do anything or condition you. So this is your power as this warrioress and dash Fool's oracle card power. So I would love to ask you what you think about my pictures and my interpretation of this channel.
First of all, I do trust your pictures and what comes in your vision, and I do resonate with that, I have to say. And I can see, maybe I can explain more how this plays out in the sense of, because you mentioned that this channel and this energy cannot be influenced, cannot be conditioned. It's mine as innate. How I have felt that it works is that it's something that is always there and it's always in me, but it can definitely be silenced, let's say, if I lean into the open centers. And this has, as I said before, like it has been a lot frequent throughout my life in the past. And it's as if it's how I see it also, because the G center, the core, is more like this path of self that feels steady. I feel like sometimes the conditioning from the open centers can like push me aside, and it's like, when you're on a road and then you turn left, but you're out of the path, but then you will be pushed back into the main road at some point. So that's how I've been experiencing this. And depending on the conditioning, it might take years to get back on the main route. But I think the more I have been experiencing how my energy works, and the more I have been able to tell apart the conditioning from what is my truth, what is in me, the easier it becomes to navigate, I would say.
Nice. And it is so great listening to your practical wisdom about this, because you are someone who knows the theory about the teachings, and you seem to really live by your design, or at least, and I know sometimes it is not easy to always live by your design, but you at least have the awareness of your design, and you try to integrate this in your life. And so when I always sense this practicability of what you say and the experience, I need to screen share again, because I would love to point out another aspect that just jumped out. And this is that your profile is a 5-1 profile, and we can see it here. And when people ask themselves where else they can find the 5-1, you can see it. This is the exponent after the conscious sun gate. So this is the 0.5, and in the subconscious or design part, the 1. So that's the 5-1. And here it says heretical and investigator. And I just felt so much the 5 when you said those practical things, that you experienced this knowledge that you now share with people you work with and maybe with your loved ones. And also, I feel that this makes you an outstanding person with highly social skilled person, someone who has this amazing interpersonal skill, as you are, yeah. So with this 5, this heretical or visionary person, you are someone who really can reflect back on what people see maybe in themselves, or they don't see it, and they project it onto you, and you can reflect this back. And the investigator, of course, that's what came up in the very beginning of our conversation when you said you like to dive deeply into stuff and you like to ask a lot of questions, maybe for yourself when you prepare something or when you work with your clients. And again, I ask you for either confirmation or new insights into what I just shared.
Yeah, this is, all the time you were talking, I was nodding because I really resonate with that. And it's especially the investigator aspect. I recognized it since I was a child. It was very strong in me that I would, back then, it's not that I had the internet for all this information we can find now, but I would always search in books and magazines to find to gather information for things that interested me. So not necessarily for school, that maybe there were subjects I was not into. So I could feel the draw of the investigator was always around things that I feel really thirsty to learn. I want to find out everything about something that interests me. And then it's this unconscious energy, and it's also in the unconscious side of the chart, things that we are not that much aware of. So it's this line of the investigator was always coming out so unconscious through the desire to constantly learn and study the things that I felt drawn to. And then I realized, even when I was doing it, I was telling myself, why are you spending all this time absorbing all this information? And then I could only later see how this was forming the basis, that this will come handy, that I have no clue when I'm studying where this will help me. And then somehow there always comes a time that I can draw the information from this library to help someone with something that I have learned around the subject. And then I guess there comes the 5th line where I will present it more to the world. But it is very true what they say about the investigator energy, that it has to be a secure foundation. So I will not talk about things that I have not really studied through and practiced and seen, in reality. And this is then when I know I can share them with others. And as you said, even loved ones, I remember even before I started my own business, which helped me actually have access to, share this information with others on the broader scale. I would always talk to my friends and family and anyone who I knew as, oh yeah, I learned this, and did you know this about this? And I realized this was helping me solidify the information. So it's very interesting how this works. And also what you mentioned about the projections. I do feel that this was, again, always the case, that people would project things on me, and then I could see them and then reflect them back to them. And this, I recognize the disadvantage of that I feel it's hard for me to be really seen, I feel sometimes, because of the projections. But it still happens. It's just like very fewer people will tap into that, I notice.
And you don't know how much I enjoy having the conversation with you, Stefi, because you always seem to read my mind. So there is one thing that stood out for me before. I want to take this bridge that you just gave me, but you said as an investigator, you were so interested in things maybe not inside of school, but maybe outside of school because they were of interest. And I just wanted to point that out, that knowing the human design of someone, or especially of a kid, when they struggle with some things at school, it is so fabulous to know their design and to understand what's going on and to see the amazingness and magnificence in kids. That was just a step inside of our conversation. And so thank you for sharing, because I don't know if this is something that played out in your childhood, that you were so interested in things and you were this investigator, but maybe not for all of the stuff that was required. I don't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when you were saying that, I felt goosebumps, because I think it was so true what you said, and how important it is to know the child and their design. Because, for example, what I was feeling when at school, and not actually interested in some of the subjects, I would feel like there's something wrong with me. Why can I not learn it? Why can I not, be the best at it? While at some other, even at school, there were some subjects I was genuinely interested in, and I could see how differently I learn. And it's the struggle. I think it's important to note, like the subjects that I didn't feel called to learn, there was so much struggle and so much effort that did not lead anywhere. This, like, something's off. While the ones that I was genuinely interested in, it never felt like an effort. It felt like joy to learn and study. So, I mean, this was huge. And if I knew this back then, I would just embrace it rather than think, oh, but why can I not, be good at all of the subjects? Because that's what you're supposed to do in school. You're supposed to go there and be good at everything, or almost everything. So it's so important to know these things, to help the child focus on the things that matter to them.
Absolutely. I feel that human design is one aspect to really create 5-star family dynamics, and that knowing your child's human design and your own is helping you so much to understand and to leverage and to really hone into what is possible. And you mentioned the struggle. You said that sometimes you don't feel seen. And that makes me go back to the general aspects of a projector, as a projector is meant to be invited and recognized. And so I can ask you this because I know that you investigated and experienced this in your life, I guess. How do you deal with this aspect, as you don't have this sustainable energy with the openness, and you have the open throat that maybe adds to this issue of, oh, do people hear me? Do people see me? And then with your amazing quality and your magnificence and your greatness, isn't it hard for you to wait for recognition or invitation? How do you handle that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. How do I handle that? I don't think it's a lot of it that I can control, in the sense of where it comes from. But I know that what I can be responsible of is to be centered in myself, and to express myself. And then, or also, for example, let's say having my own platform, like in social media. I know it's a place that I can share my voice and share my thoughts. And it's something that I can do without waiting for someone. But then the invitations come honestly so randomly, like I cannot control it. But what I so yeah, what I can do is to have my energy centered, work with myself, study, learn, practice, and then they seem to come from different sources. But what I've noticed is that because, and I know we've discussed this before together, it's like it's human design is not about like making you feel limited and making you feel like, as you said in the beginning, like you're inside a box and you can't act in a different way. It's nothing. I don't see it like that. For me, it has nothing to do with that. So if let's say how I see it is like, for me, it would be a waste of my energy to try and make people listen to me. It honestly feels like a drain of my energy, and I feel like I don't want to do that. And that shows me that maybe these people that I feel, will not listen to me are not the people who are supposed to listen to what I have to share. So I trust that the people who do resonate with what I have to share are the ones who will find me. And this is how it usually actually happens. So what I do, let's say some other times that I'm not sure, I'm unsure as to if the person recognizes me or if they are open to me. I have a conversation, or I might ask them a question like, do you mind if I share this with you? Or, I learned this, or I've seen this. Would you want to listen to that? And they can always say, I'm not sure, or like, yeah, or even if they say yes and they don't mean it, you can still feel it. So it's this, I think, the lack of expectation is always helpful in these cases for me, because, and I generally don't have expectations. Like, if you are interested, great. If not, still, it's okay. I'm not going to force, the energy if it's not there. So I play with this, like, to see if there is an opening, if there is space. And sometimes there is, and it just needs a bit of confirmation from the other person. And some other times it's not, and that's fine, because it saves me the waste of energy that I would have otherwise. So I think playing around with this, and I'm still learning as I go, is what has just helped me, and not to see it as something rigid.
I thank you so much for sharing this amazing value, as this gives all the projectors this practical tip that they don't have to wait forever and a day to share what they want to share, because you can ask if people are interested in your opinion or your point of view. And I guess it is so important to really own your worth and your wisdom and your knowledge, because I want to share the story how we met. I just saw you in a group of so many people, and I liked what you shared. And so you drew the attention towards yourself by just sharing your wisdom and your knowledge. And so I reached out, and I don't know if this was subconscious. I invited you to get in touch with me. And now, as a manifesting generator and a projector, we are about to work on a project, and in a big alignment with the human design, because everyone can bring to the table what they know and what they are capable of.
Yeah, and I just want to say, when you mentioned about how we met, and it was the same for me, that I felt like out of all these people, I felt very drawn to you as well. And it was very mutual. And then you invite me to connect further. But it was this mutual, like, I also recognized you, your energy, like it felt very familiar or very warm. And it was a mutual thing. And you invited me in, and then like our energy started playing. with each other.
Yeah, great. To wrap this amazing conversation up, how can people reach out to you? How can they work with you? What do you offer? How does this work when people are interested in getting to know your amazing services?
So my services are, I do mainly coaching, which is more like a self discovery process, in the sense of whatever gets in your way, whether this is with your relationships, your career, your life, the connection to yourself. Whatever gets in your way, and it usually comes from the conditioning, as we were saying earlier. We work with that and we unpack it, and we release these blocks and these obstacles that have been there preventing you from experiencing the things that you want in your life. So this is one of the services that I offer on one-to-one sessions. And at the same time, we do use your human design as a reconfirmation, as we said, of your energies and how these all weave together. I also do separate human design sessions, one-to-ones, and video recording where I will go through someone's energies and their chart. And I also offer, if someone prefers more of a DIY, do-it-yourself version of my work, especially the deconditioning and healing aspects, I do have a self-led course where people can use it with it has an audio guidance where you can use it to work with your triggers and work with these obstacles and increase and strengthen the connection to yourself.
Great. Thank you for sharing. And I just can encourage people to reach out, because now that you watch this show, you know much more about Stefi than you know about all those coaches out there. And you know that she's an amazing person to guide you, because she has the openness in her chart, and she has the experience and the willpower and the power to guide you through a process from being stuck to being liberated and being really connected with who you are. And I will put all her information into the show notes. I am so happy that she shared her wisdom, her experience, and her charisma. That's what came to me right now with us. Thank you so much, Stefi, for being on Magnificence, the show that empowers people. And yes, so thank you so much. And
thank you so much, Patricia, as well. It was so lovely, as always, to have this conversation with you. And I wanted to add that, if people are more interested in learning more about human design, we do have together this upcoming course that will be focusing in a lot more detail about how to use human design for, even if you are a coach, if you are in the service industry of that type of helping people, it will give you the information you need to know to better help yourself and others as well. So stay tuned.
Thank you for mentioning that. I was just in such a rush, but yes, this is coming out, and this is a really practical guide for coaches and service-based businesses to use human design as an amazing tool to understand your clients and yourself better. This is coming soon. Stay tuned. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this empowering episode. To continue this journey of aligning with your true purpose and uncovering your magnificence, schedule an illumination call with Patricia at patricialindner.com. Please share this episode with someone who needs it, and subscribe to the show on YouTube and your favorite podcasting platform. Join us again soon for another episode of Magnificence.